Chapter 4. Once there was a princess who was very beautiful. She shone as bright as the stars on a moonlight night. But what's different? Did it make that she was beautiful? None. No difference. Why did it make no difference? Asked Abelin. Because, said Pellegrina, she was a princess who loved no one and cared nothing for love, even though there were many who loved her. At this point in the story, Pellegrina stopped and looked right at Edward. She stared deep into the pained-on eyes, and again Edward felt a shiver run through him. And so, said Pellegrina, still staring at Edward. What's happened to the princess? Said Abelin. And so, said Pellegrina, turning back to Abelin, the king, her father, said that the princess must marry, and soon after this, a prince came from the neighborhood kingdom, and he saw the princess immediately. He loved her. He gave her a ring of pure gold. He placed it on her finger. He said these words to her, I love you, but do you know what the princess did? Abelin shook her head. She swallowed the ring. She took it from her fingers and swallowed it. She said, that is what I think of love. And she ran from the prince. She left the castle and went deep into the woods. And so what? Said Abelin. What happened then? And so the princess became lost in the wood. She wandered for many days. Finally, she came to a little hut, and she knocked it on the door. She said, let me in. I am cold. There was no answer. She knocked again. She said, let me in. I am hungry. A terrible voice answered her. The voice said, enter if you must. The beautiful princess entered, and she saw a witch sitting at the table, counting pieces of gold. 3,622, said the witch. I am lost, said the princess. What's of it? Said the witch. 3,623. I am hungry, said the princess. Not my concern, said the witch. 3,624. But I am a beautiful princess, said the princess. 3,625, replied the witch. My father said the princess is a powerful king. You must help me, or there will be consequences. Consequences? Said the witch. She looked up from her gold. She stared at the princess. You dare to talk of consequences? Very well, then we will speak of consequences. Tell me the name of one you love. Love? Said the princess. She stamped her foot. Why must everyone always speak of love? Whom do you love? Said the witch. You must tell me the name. I love no one, said the princess proudly. You disappoint me, said the witch. She raised her hand and said one word, Farthiggery, and the beautiful princess was changed into a warthog. What have you done to me? Squealed the princess. Talk to me of consequences now, will you? Said the witch, and she went back to counting her pieces of gold. 3,626. Said the witch as the warthog princess ran from the hut and out again in the forest. The king's men were in the forest too. And what were they looking for? A beautiful princess. And so when they come upon an ugly warthog, they shot it immediately. Pow! No, said Abelin. Yes, said Pellegrina. The man took the warthog back to castle, and the cook split open its belly, and inside it she found a ring of pure gold. There were many hungry peoples in the castle that night, and all of them were waiting for the fat. So the cook put the ring on her finger and finished puncturing the warthog. And the ring that the beautiful princess had swallowed shone in the cook's hand as she did her work. The end. The end? said Evelyn indignantly. Yes, said Pellegrina. The end. But it can't be. Why can't it be? Because it came too quickly, because no one is living happily after. That's why. And so, Pellegrina nodded. She was quiet for a moment, but then told me this. How can a story happily end? Happily if there is no love. But, well, it's late, and you must go to sleep. Pellegrina took Edward for Babylon. She put him in the bed and pulled the sheets up to his whisker. She leaned close to him. She whispered, You disappointed me. After the old lady left, Edward lay in his small bed and stared up at the ceiling. The story, he thought, had been pointless, but then the most story where he thought of the princess and how she had become a warthog. How gruesome, how grotesque. What a terrible fate. Edward said, Evelyn, I love you. I don't care how old I get. I will always love you. Yes, thought Edward. He continued to stare up at the ceiling. He was agitated for some reason that he could not name. He wished that Pellegrina had put him on his side so that he might look at the stars. And then he remembered Pellegrina's description of the beautiful princess. She shone as bright as the stars on the moonlight. For some reason, Edward found comfort in these words, and he repeats them to himself. As bright as the stars on a moonless night. As bright as the stars on a moonless night. Over and over until at last the first light of dawn appeared.